Let's see what we get, people. This is just ridiculous tonight. So, we want to talk about immoral reality and what that really means. For the YouTube people, it looks like we're going to be, I'll just be uploading the video because right now, and I can't tell the people on the Facebook side to go to the YouTube side because there were illustrations that I wanted to share, and that's not happening because it's still saying it's offline. So even with all these options in here, I'm not getting the settings. So we're talking about what I wanted to talk about tonight. I don't know how many people are familiar with Rizza Islam. Rizza Islam is a young man. He follows the Nation of Islam. He grew up in South Central LA in the gang environment, but he changed his life around. Became a Muslim, and then started teaching the teachings of Elijah Muhammad. Sorry about that. We're going to get it together, people. We're going to get it together. So he started teaching the teaching of Elijah Muhammad. And it's never when you are descending do the forces come after you. It is quite often when you are on the rise that they try to cut you off. And there's been all types of things posted about fraud and things like that. You can't see it on the on the YouTube side because it still hasn't come on, even with the settings added in. But what I'm showing here, and like I said, I'll post everything else later. It's just got all these articles about Rizza Islam and his mother being arrested, and it seems like he was arrested on contempt of court or something. I guess his mother was involved in something, and he was speaking up for his mother. And whenever we speak up, there's going to be a whole bunch of things hurled at you these days about toxic masculinity, and it's going to be all based on this country of America, this cesspool of America that gets to where they want to run your life. And if you do not allow them to run your life or subscribe to the American principle, you will be so-called exposed, so-called brought out. You will be put on the list as a black intelligence extremist, and you will pay for your treachery, according to America, because America decides who is worthy and who is unworthy. People are still trying to get themselves together over this Judge Tammy Kipp situation and the love and compassion that everyone wants to share with Amber Geiger, which is just ridiculous. But, everybody's got a right to, if we're Christians and we're supposed to forgive everybody, I guess what the both and John family did, who, like I said before, they're from the islands, so they don't identify with America the way that a lot of black people here identify with America. And Yana Van Zant came out and said something about the situation too. Okay, then everybody gets hugs. No, we're tired of seeing criminals like the young man that shut up the church after praying with him. Now we're supposed to embrace these people immediately. Just like when your master used to beat you. Oh, he could have beat you worse. He could have toned you down now. Now you know what the master law say, and you got to be a good nigga and get yourself together, and then the master don't have to beat you. The immoral reality we're talking about is, I was listening to some show and they were talking about, is poverty a reason to go out and commit crimes and things like that? And I always say no, it's not, but The definition of poverty I always give is that poverty is a economic condition with social ramifications. If you don't have any money in a capitalist society, that's what we call assed out. And you got two options in the capitalistic society: to work for them or work for yourself. Selling dope isn't working. That's called an immoral reality. We understand the things that go on in this country that may put you in a position where you feel hopeless. And that's why I tell people that's where you need your faith, because we got so many people out here now spouting this. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in this. Then what do you believe in, brother? Because you believing in selling dope and shooting and killing and being a criminal and expecting me to co-sign on that sounds ridiculous to me. I don't get that part where we promote the ghetto kings and drug lords and pimps and everything else around us. Like I say, poverty is an economic condition with social ramifications. Some of those ramifications are the ills that street life produces: prisons, poor schools, living in a fake reality, because every day you're waking up, and while the American capitalist is going to work and making their money, they have put you in a position of poverty and no money. And while you're screaming racism, they're looking at their bank accounts like, yeah, that look right. Okay, money's coming in. Them poor niggas over there still poor. They still being distracted. Okay, bring in our new niggas, the Asians and the Indians. Okay, you guys are cool with this, right? The Mexicans, all right, okay. So everybody gets to cheer that had no dog in this fight, and we're still sitting around being accepting. That kind of bothers me when we don't have enough sense to start practicing some type of self-preservation, because and maybe we don't realize, the destruction. We talk about how we've been destroyed on so many levels. So I'll break it down like this, because I always tell people, I said, we don't have a culture. We don't have an economic separate from our slave masters. And we have no plan other than trying to force the white man to allow us to totally integrate into a sick society. These are the options that we have now, or these are the options that we have chosen to put our efforts into. I left corporate America, and I tell the story all the time. This is my store, RPC Computing, 1741 East 71st Street in the South Shore area, Chicago, Illinois, 773-966-4457. Know how good it feels to say a black man has a business in the black neighborhood, and the excitement that people feel when they can come in and talk to somebody that looks like them, that speaks like them, that understands their plight, and that's not trying to overcharge them. I tell everybody, we look at it for free, and then we'll charge you for fixing it. A lot of places will charge you for looking at it and fixing it. Black people are being gouged enough. So on this morality thing, when we look at, I don't want to just look at how America does it. I want to look at how we do it. And do you get a pass on moral conditions because of what you want to do? We often say if it's a criminal and then they take the money and they put it back in the neighborhoods and they, give back, do we give that a pass? Selling drugs to your people is destroying your people. Well, they just gonna get it from somewhere else. Then let them get it from somewhere else. Don't let them get it from you, brother. Don't you be a part of that system that is denying your brothers and sisters the opportunity to grow. That can't be a model for success. You can't build yourself up off of the destruction of others. It's ridiculous. Well, the man ain't gonna let us. Okay, we done talking about the man. Why don't we make plans and start building this? And this is the biggest crux of it all. We're too busy focusing on the man. The man is focusing on making his money. He knows he's in control. He knows the situation you're in because he put you in that situation. We so smart, we dumb. Listen to that statement. We so smart, we dumb. Because we don't know anything else except what they taught us. I'm going to have my little phone lines open tonight. Like I said, I ain't been on in a few weeks. 872-267-2552. 872-267-2552 is our call-in number. But we so dumb that we smart, and we so anxious to look right in the eyes of the people that oppress us in America. You got a psychopath in the White House that has put things in position that will benefit them for years. We remember when Obama was trying to introduce people for the Supreme Court, and the Republicans refused to even speak to anybody. And now they have appointed 2 Supreme Court judges and possibly a third if this lady, and she might as well just go ahead and retire. She's about 85. Once she goes and they put another person in, and people say, well, how does that affect anything? Because we can still sue and we can win on here. Well, if you can still sue and win at the local level, then I push it up to my people. Then my people overturn what your people say, and I'm still rolling. We so smart, we dumb. We so smart that we dumb. You got other people working behind the scene. You got Byron Allen buying up stations and TV and radio stations because he knows communication is a main thing that you need when you're building a nation or trying to do something, because the communication is what designs the image. Oprah's got her thing going. Tyler Perry just opened this new, I forgot how many acres it is, but it's huge. It's got like 12 different sound and audio sets on the property. I think the property used to be an old plantation or something. And so he's got that. Meanwhile, we got Bill Cosby, who was giving money to black colleges left and right like water, sitting in a prison, and everybody else that has a pending case is still out running wild. And their cases are recent cases, and most of Bill Cosby cases were decades old. But, when he decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and try to purchase CBS, and I got the money, I can do it. No. What we say, they always move the goalposts. There's a song in the Wiz by Michael Jackson says, "You can't win and you can't get out the game." And that's where we at. So when people say, "You always angry," I got a right to be angry. My people being persecuted, right? This isn't righteous indignation. This is, dude, what is going on with us? Where is the protection for black people in America? These aren't questions that they need to answer for us. These are questions that we have to answer for ourselves, because we are the ones that are suffering. And just to continue the nonsense, as they accuse us of all this toxic male masculinity. And when they say that, you're talking about black people, black men. There's they're still blackballing Colin Kaepernick, but I can't really take up for him because you took a check. So you took a check. I guess they can do what they want. They're bringing up a couple of more people from, I think they're in college or something, or undrafted. They were undrafted quarterbacks this year and previous years, and they're going to give them an opportunity to play quarterback. Now, Cap's been sitting over there, and now they're going to start using the time frame. Well, he hasn't played in a while, so, he's got to be rusty. And these new untested individuals, they'll do just fine because our goal is to keep niggas in their place. And they don't say it outwardly and openly, but their actions speak that. And we sit around and we twiddle our thumbs and we look stupid. So when a brother like Brother Islam gets arrested, I've been checking Brother Islam out for probably the past year, saying a lot of stuff, bringing a lot of knowledge. A lot of the young people like him. I think he's like 34 years old, something like that. It's just amazing that and a lot of these articles that they're putting up there, they're calling him a Scientologist, and he's been arrested before for grand theft. Okay, well, we knew he grew up in a rough gang-infested neighborhood. So, again, the economics may cause a lot of misguided people to do a lot of misguided things. They're bringing out stuff about fraud charges. I guess his real name is Jeffrey Augustine, but no, we call him Brother Reza Islam. That's his nation's name. And he's not the first one to be persecuted as they came up. Nobody ever bothered King until he became a part of the movement. And he wasn't interested in the movement until he was kind of thrust in it. Nobody really bothered Malcolm X, Detroit Red, when he was in his young 20s just out here in the street. But as soon as he joined the nation and started changing the mindsets of the young and misguided, then he had to go. Farrakhan kind of inherited a lot of things, so he gets to freely speak, but, they try to come at him too. All the black people that were on TV, like Tavis Smiley, Roland Martin, Cornel West on NPR, they got rid of all of them. Because the thing is to silence you and to create an image of you and others. Hey, Chantel. Create an image of you and others that is contrary to the establishment. And that's what creates this dynamic between black men and black women, because to be honest, I mean, a lot of black women have conformed to the social structure and see it as a way that, the white woman convinced a lot of black women that they were being oppressed. No, we're all being oppressed together, but now, so they go to school and they conform and they live in the system, and it works for them because they can go buy Gucci and all this other stuff and take care of their kids and put their kids in better schools, and then they can talk crazy to you. But that's all by design. So let's create economic poverty for black men who don't want to conform to the system. Let's take them out of the leadership role in their homes, and let's allow the women who capitulate and will come in here and work hard like dogs for us. And then let's change the image on the TV. Every commercial that we put on now, let's show them that it's okay to be a black woman. Come on, get you a white man, because you all are more on the same level, education-wide, goals-wide. Forget the black man, unless it's your child and you're willing to raise him to capitulating to a system that is here to destroy him psychologically and then physically, to imprison his mind and his body. A lot of this may sound crazy to a lot of people. It may sound like, oh, this is outdated literature. No, this is just the way that the world is set up and the way that the world is ran. Like I said, I just left corporate America after 26 years. And 26 years in corporate America, and I never got a promotion. Is that not incredible? But it's not just me. I've seen it happen to other brothers, because if you do not put on the tap shoes that they give you with your degree, because everybody's always like, well, I got a degree in this and then. Your degree means nothing to these people unless you're here to tap dance and capitulate to the system as it is. That's what determines your success, not your degree, not how smart you are, but how willing you are to capitulate in the system and maybe work extended time. I tell everybody, the white person comes to corporate America, within 3 or 4 years, they have probably been promoted and have a career path. You're lucky if within 7 or 8 years, and you could be there 7, 8 years before them, and you'll be lucky to go up a ladder. But they call this toxic masculinity. When if we speak up or say anything, I want us to go into this new year thinking, or just start thinking now. Racism is just a distraction for what's actually going on out here in the world. And we got to stop being distracted, being managed into poverty, believing that what they do is the standard of life. Well, like I say, that's the whole part of the culture being destroyed. I talk to a lot of Africans that come into my shop, and Jamaicans and such, and it just further cements in my mind how destroyed we are from the slave trade. Because we are the only people on this planet that have been culturally displaced from our heritage. There's a show on YouTube called The House of Commons. It's done by some African people. I don't know if they're elite or whatever. But sometimes they have some interesting discussions, and they said it's not our fault here in America because we think our story ends and starts and ends with these people of America that brought us here. And we don't realize that our story doesn't end with the way we are in America now. It ends with us reconnecting with our brothers and sisters in Africa. And then they said, and it's up to us to give them that connection because they know nothing about Africa, because they have been separated and destroyed. So the only way we get a connection back to Africa is through Africans. There's a part in School Days when Big Brother Almighty tells Depp, you don't know a damn thing about Africa. You can Watusi your ass back to Africa if you want to. I'm from Detroit. You from Chicago. You from California. But everybody else you talk to that can speak another language, that knows their heritage line back to their homelands of Asia, of India, of Europe, wherever they at, everybody's got that connection except us. So if you don't know who you are as a people, how can you ever come together and do anything? So we have to get our moral base together, get rid of a lot of the immorality that we see and suffer, and we've all done it, so none of us are innocent. I never was a big drug salesman, but I did some stuff and sold some things and made some money and did a lot of things that probably shouldn't have did in the efforts to have a little money, put some in my pocket. and I was woke even back then, but I understand the situation, but we can't allow America, the most immoral place on earth, and only thing that keeps people from calling them out as being immoral is one of the richest places on earth. It's one of the only places that has freedom the way we have it. That's why you got all these protests going on in Hong Kong and China and such, because they rule over the people. But those are communist countries. So when someone spoke out against the way that they treat their people, they tried to bully and tell America, okay, well, we're not messing with y'all NBA stuff. But a lot of people in China like the NBA. But do we as a country say, okay, well, screw you all? No, we don't. We just start kissing butt and pleading like, oh, because the money means everything to us. You see how we got these niggas trained to run up and down the court and jump? They want to come here and perform for you too. You know how these niggas get down. They don't care. They selfish. They haven't been taught how to come together and how great they would be if they united. So we want them to come to China. We want them to come to Japan. We want to make this beautiful, because little do they know, we actually starting a league in Africa too. So we want to have a basketball league in Africa. So we want to farm every potential place on the planet for our players, because if these Negroes think that they will ever get a league, they got another thing coming. Axe Cube, Axe Magic. Yeah, we gave you a little something. We gave you a little 3-on-3 basketball. We saw y'all made money, but we only gave y'all a 3-year contract. So after this year, which was the 3rd year, we don't really have to renew it with you. And I just say everybody should keep their eyes open. Let's see what they're going to do, because Magic, Cube, Puffy, and a lot of other people, they got together and they wanted to buy some sports network channels. And at the last minute, they raised the price. And when they raised the price, some good white boys came up with the money that the good black boys couldn't come up with. And then they tried to sue. But the white man is great at wasting time, because they know time is on their side and it's not on our side. And that's what economic poverty does. It makes you feel like you're out of time. It makes you feel like you're out of breath. And it makes you seem like you have nothing left. So I was glad to get back on tonight. Like I say, some technical difficulties on the YouTube side. I had to figure that out because, like I said, I had it working yesterday. But it's good to be back on the Facebook side of things. Like I said, we keep it at, well, we try to keep it at 30 minutes. But come next week, we will have worked out all the bugs. I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube and their changes, because they want you to use this new tool, and it's a little flaky for right now. So on that note, hooty hoo, glad to be back. Glad to see everybody back. Thanks everybody for joining. There's a link over on, if you're on the Facebook side, there is a link, and we want people to click that link. We want people to come to the No PC side on YouTube. Click that notification button. Join us. Be a part of what we're trying to do out here, and help us to grow. And we want more people to, call in. We're trying to make this a show, not just of me talking, but people should call in. And we got 85 subscribers right now. Okay, that's cool. I got another site, and I try to get the people from the other side to come over. Maybe one day they'll actually come up with a tool that will allow you to import the other people over, because there's about another 90-some people on the other side. So, check us out, make your comments, and, we will appreciate and try to bring you some quality shows and try to hook up with some other folks. And on that note, let's see if we can end the show the way we use to end the show. Love, peace, soul. We out of here.
No, you don't have the right.
Step out of the car.
You do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove
I
you.
refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Now if your woman ain't no revolutionary, she'll persuade you to be a fucking slave for the rest of your days. She'll be grooming you on how to behave, teaching you how to coon and buck dance so that you can be safe. If that brother ain't no rider, soldier, no provider, molder of young minds, check it out, you got yourself a bitch. Think about the time that you invested in him. If he's wearing them skinny jeans, you a lesbian. For every 100 black women who ain't locked up, it's only 83 black men remain. Take away 1.5 million black men who might have benefited their women and their children. You don't know a war when it's waged against you, when it makes you drive your baby mama to the clinic just to kill your own. Ain't no legacy to leave behind, cause ain't nobody sitting on your throne. You motherfuckers are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Sandra Bland was a rider. She wouldn't have committed suicide, and you a motherfucking liar. It would not be wise to stop when you hear sirens and you see the police behind you, but you don't wanna die. They gon' shoot you if you run. They gon' say that you was going for the police gun. That's why they shot you like 120 times, but you was still coming, so they put another bullet in your lung. Them devils got you praying while they murder, because they know you on that bullshit. They steady with them full clips and body armor. They kill your women in the street, cause they figure you too weak to do anything about it. You some shit, getting fucked in your sleep. They poison you every time you brush your teeth. You don't care, you behave like a slave. A bitch from the cradle to the grave, on your knees with your hands out, begging cause you wanna be saved. Are asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't stop, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, you asleep in a war zone, living a nightmare, dying in your own home. If you don't fight, you gon' lose what you got left. I'd rather die trying to fight for my last breath. Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga. Fuck that. Freedom or death, nigga.
If you just listen,
Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga. Freedom or death, nigga.
you ain't getting a warning. Until now, you're going to jail.
I'm getting it for what?